Hi, this is Rachelle at Scrapcraftastic, and I am going to do a little experiment today. I want to try and dye some paper using food coloring. So I have these different food colorings. I don't even know why I have them, but I have them. So I'm going to play around with these. I want to make some orange paper for Halloween. I have this storage bin here from the Dollar Tree, and I think it is big enough to hold 8.5 by 11 paper. I also have a stack. Well, the edges are going to curl up, but that I can live with that. So I also have a stack here of misprint planner inserts that when I have a problem or if I don't use them, I keep them so that I can use them in junk journals. Okay, so I want to do these orange, and I kind of want to do different patterns and things, but let's see if we can get the orange color before we even go too far. I'm going to use an old paintbrush here to stir this with, and you know, red and yellow make orange, so I'm just going to put a good dollop of the yellow on here. And I have used food coloring before to dye some papers, and it works. I wouldn't say it works great, but it does work. So I also have just some regular tap water here in this bottle. It might be okay. I just want to kind of play around with the color to see how saturated it is. And that does look a little orange, so if I can get the other pieces, stir all of it up, and see what happens. Just go ahead and put some more water. Okay, we got orange. And I do have some pieces that aren't dissolved in there. I don't think that's gonna hurt anything, but we shall see. Okay, let's pour some more water. I think I need more food coloring. Kind of looks like orange jello. So I also have this pan here that I use for drying. The last experiment I did was with some black dyes. I'm not gonna worry about it. I was thinking maybe I should clean the pan, but I'm not going to. But this is what the pan looks like. It came from the Dollar Tree also. So let's just dip this in and see what the color is gonna look like. It looks a lot like yellow to me. I don't know if it needs to soak or what. And it's not as dark as I want it to be. So it looks too yellow. I'm just gonna add some more red. Still not as dark as I would like. So I'm wondering, am I gonna need like a red dye to get the color that I want? Maybe. So let's add some more red. Let's add a lot of red. Probably way too much. And add some more yellow. It's not very well mixed. But let's play around. That's better. Much better. Still not as dark as I want, but I'm hoping that once it, yeah, that's better. Once it, and I don't know if my fingers are gonna get dyed. I do have some gloves, but I don't really wanna put those on. So I'm just dipping and then putting it on the cookie sheet to dry. And as I layer it, I'm thinking that the pieces on the bottom will get darker from being saturated with the dyed water from the top. And I'm sure if I leave them in this water, the colored water for a while, that I would get a better color. For the sake of this video, I am not going to leave them in here. Let's do a couple at a time. Let's see if I can get some decorative looks here. My vision was to just have half of the page dyed and then let it drip. I don't know that that's gonna work out. I'll probably try that with just some plain paper instead of printed paper. So once I finish dipping, I try to fill this pan up or use as much of the liquid as I can, or all of the liquid. Then I will sit it in front of a fan and let it dry. And as the pages on top dry, I remove those so that those underneath can get that air and dry as well. So probably overnight and all afternoon, I would be drying papers. It is nice and sunny and hot here, but I don't really have anywhere outside to put them. Don't really want to put them on the ground. I live in Florida, so yeah, I don't fool around outside a whole lot. So putting it in front of the fan works for me. I don't do the oven anymore. I do have a video showing how to do coffee and tea stain papers. And at that time, I was putting them in the oven. I have like 3 different methods that I use to stain papers now. So maybe I'll do a new video on doing that, making the aged or vintage look papers. Let me know in the comments below if you would be interested to see my different methods now. Okay, looks like I need to make some more solution. Let's try one more before we add to it. So let's add some more water. Let me get a little more. Okay, and I guess I should have used gloves because my fingers are a little orange, but I'm okay with that. And those pieces that don't dissolve do make interesting patterns on the paper too. So I'm not gonna worry about those. Still not enough color though. Looks like I'm gonna be out of yellow. I do have like a pink color here and another red. Oops, dropped the blue. What color is this? I don't think I've even used this. This is neon pink. This is neon orange. Oh, this is orange. Duh. I didn't know I had an orange. I had never even opened this. So let's get with that one. And mix it in. Let's see what we get. You kind of have to just like play around with this stuff and have fun with it. If you are looking for perfect results, this is probably not a good idea. Let's put some more in here to soak up some of that color. The reason I don't often stack them up like this, making sure I'm in frame. Yeah, so I don't often stack them like this because when you're trying to pull them apart, it makes them more prone to tearing. See how that is right there? We got a tear. I can still use them, but I try not to tear if possible, or to get tears. Oops. Guess I'm gonna have to use these sheets. I had put them aside, but I guess I'll be using those. Let's put some papers here to soak up the splashes. Let's add some more orange. So here in the pan, you can see the extra dyed liquid. That is gonna soak into these papers and hopefully give them a darker look. I think my pan is getting a little full now. Oop, I just tore that. So that's my last piece of orange. I do have a little bit left here, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Got my orange fingers. So hopefully a little soap and water or maybe some alcohol will get that off. So here's my pan full of papers. I do have another storage bin that's really big that I probably can't get on camera that I'm gonna transfer these into for drying so that I can spread them out a little bit more and not just be one big stack. And also that will accommodate the excess dyed water in that pan. So I am gonna go ahead and soak up some of this excess color just to kind of help this dry a little bit. Not all of these pages are gonna be super duper orange, but yeah, this will help soak up. Okay, so I am off to dry this now, for real this time. Okay, so I'm back. I've already done the orange and the green. So now I'm gonna try some purple just to see how it comes out. So this is neon pink, but it looks purpley. I don't know. So I'm gonna try a little bit of this. Well, the text looks purpley. So maybe that wasn't such a good idea. I'm gonna put a dab of that in there. And then this is actually neon purple. So I'm gonna put quite a bit of that in there. And then I'm just gonna put a dollop of red, even though we already got that pink. You kind of have to know how to mix colors to do this. So it's kind of like a color theory thing. Quite a bit of blue. And then let's see what we get. Okay, I'm gonna start out, and I do use hot water again. I'm gonna start out with just a little water to try and get this all dissolved and mixed, and it looks like it's gonna be a nice purple color. And I did put on gloves this time because, yeah, my fingers were a little orange. And then when I did the green, my fingers turned a little brown. So let's see what happens. I don't think that's enough purple. Let's add a little bit more. But this is a different type of paper too, so I think it still needs more color. I don't know, that looks kind of dark. Let's add some more blue and red. I like when the colors that I mix kind of show up too. Okay, so that is it for that batch. The ones on top here came out more blue, but the base was more purple. And I think this came out the best color of them all. So I'm gonna set these to dry, and again, I'll be back to show you the final results of everything. All right, so here we are. After 3 days of dyeing paper, this is what I have. So I didn't show this on camera, but I did dye a couple of pieces of fabric that I'm hoping to use as covers for some Halloween journals. So this is the orange piece. And then here is the piece that I did in purple. And what I did was just crumple it up. This is just cotton fabric. It was a cream color. I just balled it up and dipped it in a bowl of the same mixture that I used to dye the papers. So this is what this one turned out like. And I like that this one has more gradients of color, even though I missed the spot right there. But this one has more gradients of purple in it, where this one just looks like a flat orange, but I can take my sprays and inks and add to that. Okay. So these papers you did not see me make either. This was my original idea when I started this, where I could just dip a couple of the edges in the liquid or in the dye. And sorry about the shadows. I don't know how to get rid of that at the table. Anyway, this is how it came out. And I used the leftover dye from the orange version to do this. So I just dip one edge in, dip the other edge in, and set it aside. So this is how all of those turned out. So that once I fold it in a journal, this is what it would look like. Then these are all the orange papers. So this is how they turned out. I really like this one. I think I'm going to use that one like as an intro page. I like the ones that came out darker, like that. And those are probably the ones that were on the bottom. Some of these are more peachy than orange, but it is a good way to use up these food colorings that I've had for a while, and I have really no other use for them. So I think these papers came out really nice. That's the oranges. I think I got a few more orange. Yeah. I'll get those out later. Then this is the greens. And it is like a bright Halloween green color. This paper had color on it and it came out different. I know some papers have a different treatment. This might have been a photo paper. That might be why it came out so different compared to the others. But it was a misprint. And so it came out like this really bright green color. Yeah, so depending on the paper, the coating on the paper, it determines how it's going to absorb the color. So these are some more orange papers. This was just like, this was a glimmer cardstock. So you can see the glimmer to that. And let's put these with the oranges. These are just some small pieces that I used to mop up the leftover orange from dyeing the fabric. Stick those in there. And here's some more green. And I haven't ironed these. I just let them dry and kind of flatten them out by hand, put something heavy on them. Depending on what I use them for, I may iron them, I may not. I find that just stacking them up, making sure that they're laying as flat as possible, and putting something heavy on them will flatten them as much as I need. I don't necessarily need to iron them. Any pieces that I had that were torn, I still keep them because I can use them to make a collage masterboard. So I keep all of those because when the paper is wet, it is kind of easy to tear. And these are some more of the orange, again, that I used to mop up the color that I used for the fabric. But see how those are on the edge? They got a little green in them. The lines from the notepad also bled into the orange. So it gave it a different kind of color. More orange, or should I say peach. Then we get to the purple. So some of them came out more of a fuchsia purple color, or pinky purple, and then had some more that were more of a blue purple. I think that the fabric came out more with true purple color variants in it than the papers did. Because this has got like a pinky tone to it, but I think it looks more purple on camera. But I like the variation. It gives me a wide variety of purple colors to play with. As you can see here, this is more purple on the edge, and then this is more pink. Then these, I think, were mop-up pages from the fabric. I did have some pink paper in there that I dipped in the purple. It didn't change it very much, just made it a little darker. Then this came out really nice because it was printed all over, and the liquid kind of mixed with the inkjet print. And look at that. That's gonna be the cover of another signature. I like that a lot. That piece is a piece of cardstock. And let's see, pretty much all the rest of these are the same. Again, any torn papers or papers that are not suitable to go in a journal will be part of a masterboard collage. Let's see, like that. Or I can just use my faux vintage tape and tape those pieces up. Just adds a little more character to the pages. I did even these small pieces like this. So like these pieces, I keep these pieces to use in collage. Okay, so that's all the purples. Then I did this off camera. I decided I would try to do black. First thing I did was mix a bunch of contrasting colors to try to get as dark of a liquid as I could with the food coloring. So a lot of these, this is just like a mop-up page where things just dripped on it and I kept it. So let's start here. So these, I don't even know what color to call this. Pinky color, pinky, dusty, grungy color. This is a result of me mixing a bunch of contrasting colors, trying to get black from the food coloring. So that's how that happened. So we got these, all of those. Then I decided to add a little black acrylic, matte acrylic paint to the solution, and that's what gave me this. It looked a lot darker while it was wet, of course, but it gives me a grungy, dirty looking page that I think will work good in a Halloween journal. So that's what these look like. Some of them have more of a pinky tone to them. Some of them just have a cool gray color. Just depends. And yeah, these are probably mopping up the last little bits of the liquid. That was a misprint. This is one of the darker pages. And this is everything that's left. So I did get a few dark pieces. I probably could have gone heavier on the paint, but yeah, I didn't. Because I wasn't sure if it would cause the papers to stick together, even though it is a matte paint, but I still wasn't sure. I didn't want to take any chances with that. So that is everything that I've dyed over the last few days. Dye, let it dry, dye, let it dry. And now I will be using some of these papers to create a few journals for Halloween. So I hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful. If you did, you may be interested in these other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.